The supply chain is, all of the issues are not fixed. And the biggest issue is now dealing with all of the new money that they pumped into the system when it died, or I should say, since it died in 2008. At some point, there is no choice. And you have to make really hard choices because you need necessities. So what are these choices? 84% of Americans, 84% of Americans plan to cut back spending as a result of price spikes. It's also changing consumer behaviors in some unexpected ways. I'm going to tell you, there's going to be lots of unexpected ways. I mean, let's face it, whoever is closest to the central banks, which is a private corporation, and guess who's closest? Private corporations. They always benefit. That's why you got to be your own bank. You've got to make sure that you can protect your purchasing power, because there's nobody else that's going to do it. I mean, it's just a fact. If you have a limited amount of money, you're going to have to make choices. You're not going to be able to do everything that you want to do. Last time that I reported on this, we were talking about people at Macy's having a problem. Macy's, the store, having a problem because they tried to raise the price on some mattresses and some other stuff, and their consumer said, no, we're not going to pay that. And they were forced to lower the prices back down. Something's got to give. They can't make record profits if they can't keep raising the prices. But the corporations have a lot more money than you and I. They have access to a lot more money than you or I. And it really looks like the consumers have reached their limits. And it also looks like, and I'll tell you the truth, I'm thankful for this, because I think that this high inflation is starting to wake more people up. Americans are having an inflation aha moment, because as long as it's held around 2%, they're getting what they want, but you're the frog in that pot of water that slowly increases until you are boiling. And our government spends, and central bankers too, spend an awful lot of time on perception management. And they've got to track it, because this is a con game. And so it's that confidence piece, because what I'm seeing is that inflation expectations are becoming de-anchored. Now, if you think, this is just temporary, it's just a little bit, then you're not going to change your spending patterns. But if you think that inflation's going to go up more, you are going to change your expectations, and they, meaning central banks, meaning the government, will have lost control of you. And there are way more of you and me, us, than there are of this little handful of the elites. And that's what they're scared of, because your confidence in them is what keeps them in control. That's what keeps you in this funny money, because the dollar could never go away. What are you talking about? They keep the name the same. They make the transition so that it's as close to what you're used to as possible. I was like, 17 years old in 1971. And I can tell you, $20 bill in my pocket in July, $20 bill in my pocket in September. I had no idea that anything had really changed, when in reality, everything had changed. Loss of confidence, public confidence, equals loss of power. They're trying to stay in power. So they're going to have to do something about this loss of confidence. I don't know, what could they do? We'll take a look at that. Because they got to keep the public calm. How can they do that? All right, well, pain at the pump, we know that. So the U.S. releases 1 million barrels of oil a day to cut gas prices. And the price of oil has been hovering around $100 a barrel, which is still pretty high, honestly. And now the Biden administration announces new actions to lessen the burden of medical debt and look, whenever they say increase consumer protection, you really need to rethink this. Because what they're doing is if you are in arrears on your medical debt, they're not wiping out the medical debt. They're not doing that. No. But it will come off your credit report so you can borrow more. Great idea. And now he's going out to tap ethanol to lower the fuel. So they are working hard on helping you maintain that perception that they're really doing things that are in your best interest. But the reality is that it's in their best interest if they can keep you calm, if they can keep your confidence, because then they remain in power. And my personal goal is for those that got us into this mess and the way the system is structured, on the other side of this mess, it's a more fair system. And we have more sound money. And they will have to do this, by the way. That's one of the things that happens every time. Once all confidence is lost, then they go in and they put a component of gold in the new currency. Yeah, we could trust it. It's got gold in it. And then they start to whittle that away and do all of that again. You know, if you used to buy steak, now you're buying hamburger. The hamburger gets too expensive. You're buying hot dogs. The hot dogs get too expensive. You're not eating meat at all. And that's what we've witnessed time and time again. This is why the mantra. And you know why I have an urban farm here. Food is the biggest issue for most people during these transitions. But in a consumer-driven economy, the consumers are losing their ability to consume. We are not yet at that boiling point. That's the hyperinflation. But we are definitely at the point where it's starting to bubble up now. It's starting to become more noticeable. Those are not jacuzzi bubbles, people. Those are cooking bubbles. You need to have this so that no matter what, you have the ability to purchase. You need it along with food, water, energy, security, barterability, wealth preservation, community, and shelter. Get it done, get it done, get it done.